Young Addie is at the fair with her parents. She wanders away from her parents across the beach to an isolated area of the fairgrounds. She enters the House of Mirrors. As she inspects the room, she backs into a mirror. But when she turns towards the mirror, the reflection does not move along with her. It's not a mirror. Present-day Addie has a family of her own. Husband Gabe and 2 kids, Zora and Jason. They arrive at their summer home. When Gabe mentions plans to visit the beach, Addie is rather apprehensive. She thinks back to the trauma suffered after her childhood experience in the House of Mirrors on the same beach. After the incident, young Addie stopped speaking. Her parents could not figure out what happened or why she had gone mute. Gabe shows off his new boat. He doesn't know how to pilot it yet. Upon arriving to the beach, Addie spots the same House of Mirrors from her childhood, just with a different name now. The family meets up with a couple, Kitty and Josh, plus their twin daughters. Josh and Gabe discuss his new boat purchase, while the ladies discuss Kitty's new breast job purchase. When Jason goes to the restroom, he's fascinated by a man standing alone on the beach with his arms outreached. A paranoid Addie realizes that she's lost track of Jason and she goes into panic mode. Her reaction seems a bit over the top to her son. Addie tells Gabe that she's had enough of this vacation already. She's ready to go. For the first time, she reveals to Gabe her childhood experience at that beach and how it has stuck with her whole life. Gabe proves not to be the best soundboard, as his only retort was to tell her that he can protect her. The power goes out. Jason tells his parents that they've got company outside. Gabe looks outside. Yep, there's a family out there. He tries to calm everyone down. Don't overreact. Let's keep the popo out of this. You all are afraid of your own damn shadows. Gabe steps outside, puts a little bass in his voice, and tries to reason with these visitors. That didn't work. Now old boy is feeling the pressure of having to do some primitive man shit. Come on, Gabe. You can do this. This is your moment. He grabs a baseball bat and tries a second time. Big dude ain't intimidated by a baseball bat and begins to walk towards Gabe. Hey everybody, lock the damn doors. Call the police. The male intruder, Abraham, bum rushes Gabe, takes away his bat, and busts his ankle up. The family of intruders are now inside. They're a carbon copy of our family, except they're all sort of fucked up in some kind of way. Addie's doppelganger is named Red. She kind of sounds like the late great Miles Davis. She begins to tell a story. She's got a whole list of complaints and grievances. Addie lived a life of convenience, while Red lived a hard knock life. Addie married the man she loved, while Red got hooked up with a goddamn brute. Addie had a smart, witty daughter, while Red birthed a spawn of Satan. Addie had a son that, well, they're about even in the son category. Gabe, being practical, asks this chick to get to the point of the story. Red has Addie handcuff herself to a coffee table. Red tires of Gabe interrupting her monologue. She has Abraham drag his ass out of the room, kicking and screaming like a child in Toys R Us. Enough of all that screaming. Abraham knocks out Gabe. Red sends her daughter Umbre after Zora, and she pairs Jason with her kleptomaniac son Pluto. Together, Jason learns that Pluto mirrors his every move. Jason manages to get away from Pluto and locks him into a closet. Hearing her son Pluto cry for help, Red leaves Addie alone as she goes to free him. This gives Addie the opportunity to grab a fireplace poker and free herself. She grabs Jason and books it out of there. They meet up with Zora, who's managed to get away from Umbre. Meanwhile, Gabe wakes up on his boat with Abraham trying to figure out how to operate it. Other than Red, these tethers are pretty dumb. Gabe uses the element of surprise to attack Abraham and kill him. I watched the scene 5 times and I'm still not sure how he killed him, but I think he pushed his head into the boat propeller. The family meets at the bay, they join Gabe on the boat, and they race off. Josh and Kitty are at the crib chilling. Kitty nags him to investigate a noise on the outside. The twins come out of their room to see what the fuss is about, and I'll be damned if they don't have a look-alike family too. But this went way worse than Addie's family. It was a massacre. Kitty was the last woman standing. Okay, crawling. Addie and fam show up at Kitty's crib and walk right into another fight. They snatch Addie inside. Gabe lures monster Josh away, all the way back to the boat. He manages to kill him with a flare gun. But the real fight is back at the house. Zora and Josh go in and commit to doing some damage. Zora couldn't find a driver, so a putter has to do. Jason, he grabs a vase with a solid base. Real good for head bashing. Zora killed one of the monster twins and kept killing her. Monster Kitty has Addie handcuffed to the bed. A lot of handcuffs in this movie. Zora enters the room to play hero, but that monster Kitty is way too powerful for her. Addie can only watch. When all hope is lost, Jason comes through with a skull cracking. I think that boy might be a natural at killing. The family reunites and tries to figure out what the hell just happened. They turn on the news and learn that these doppelgangers done come up out the sewers to bust some heads. Addie wants to escape to Mexico, while Gabe wants to stay. But Gabe checked his nuts in about an hour ago in the movie, so they're going to Mexico. As they drive off, that damn hombre shows back up. She jumps on the vehicle and tries to attack the family from atop. Zora takes off and brakes hard, launching hombre into the forest. Addie gets out the car and finds hombre in at least 3 different pieces. She doesn't put her out of her misery. She watches her die slow. It's morning. The fam drives up on Pluto, who has set their old vehicle on fire. Addie gets out and approaches him. She's about to put his head to bed. She then realizes that it's a trap. There's a trail of gasoline leading to the vehicle with her family inside, and Pluto is about to strike a match. Before Pluto can light the gasoline, Jason exits the car and begins to walk backwards. Pluto mirrors Jason's movements and begins to walk backwards himself into the burning vehicle. He dead. Red pops out and snatches Jason. Addie follows, and follows, and follows, and follows, and follows. She finally finds Red in a classroom. Red begins to drop knowledge about the origin, the purpose, and the undoing of the tethered. This was all an experiment to control humans. The government would create obedient copies of humans and rule them from below. Project went to shit and eventually got abandoned. The tethered were left behind in the sewers. That's until Addie came along. Addie and the House of Mirrors. A little girl entered the House of Mirrors, and that little girl was actually Red. See, Red is OG Addie. It was Addie that attacked Red in that House of Mirrors. She dragged Red down to the sewers to live out a life that was meant for her. Addie assumed the human position, thus explaining why she went mute when her parents found her. She didn't know how to speak. Meanwhile, Red grew up in the sewers, organizing for the day that the tethers could take their revenge. Well, after hearing all that, Addie ain't gonna let that shit blow up her game. She strangles Red to death and rejoins her family. As they leave, her son is looking at her funny, and she's looking at him funny. The closing shot is a world of tethers joined hand to hand as helicopters fly above them, ready to drop bombs, I assume.